The freaking flute is hilarious.
Okay, that's a good one. I'll give you that.
You guys are getting a strange show tonight. Rob was off because he was sick today. Rob stayed home from work. I stayed home from work because I had to go to a doctor's appointment and refill all my oxygen tanks. We really don't want to talk about the Synod.
It's like the last thing in the world.
At all.
I'd rather hear about Anthony refilling his oxygen tank.
It's just such a topic. Oh man, because you see, they did what we thought they were going to do. They dumbed down the language in the document, but all the things they talked about that hit the news were good enough to make it bad, right? Like, and then you have Supich and McElroy coming out talking about women deacons. That, like, it's just, they did exactly what we thought they were going to do, but everybody thought it was going to be in writing.
Francis has an interview about a book that says no, women can't be ordained. On the other hand, the Synod says, well, it's not closed yet. You know, like it's just everything it's been for a decade.
It's so tiresome. It is the embodiment of the spirit of something. You know, it doesn't matter what the document itself says. So we figured we will get to it eventually tonight. We'll talk about it, but if that's what if that's what you guys are tuning in for, you're gonna have to do a lot of fast forwarding if you're catching the replay. We do have some funny videos tonight, though. You see the Patrick Bet David thing that he did to Ron DeSantis?
The what thing?
All right, so
is it the guy that looks like he's at a news desk?
Yes, put that one on. Let's see. You got to see this.
Oh boy.
Marketing team points out how they're trying to troll you in the marketplace. Okay, I'm sure they're doing that. Can you bring this one clip? I know you were on what do you call it? On what was it? Bill Maher, and Bill Maher talked about the boots. I've seen you walk with these boots. Go ahead and play this clip. This on TikTok went viral. It doesn't have 1 million views. It doesn't have, 10 million views. This thing's got 1.2 million likes. And some people are wondering,
what are they? I don't even I haven't seen that.
They've not shown this to you. Okay,
No.
What they're trying to say with this is that in your boots, you have heels.
No.
That's what they're trying to say.
Those are just standard off the rack Lucchese.
How tall are you? How tall are you, Governor? How tall?
5'11".
5'11". Okay. Why don't you wear tennis shoes?
It seems like us.
I do wear tennis shoes when I work out. Yeah, 100%.
You do.
Yep.
Okay. I got to give.
You.
I'd love for you to wear. Okay. I shop at Ferragamo. Okay. And
is this guy really doing this to Ron DeSantis?
He's really doing this to Ron DeSantis.
I can't accept it.
I totally get it.
I'm sorry.
You cut it there.
No, that's where it cuts. He goes on to say he can't accept the gift. He can't accept the gift. But there's this whole thing out there of it's this conspiracy that Ron DeSantis wears heels inside his cowboy boots to make himself look taller. And the internet has listed his height differently over the past 2 years. So it went from him being 5'8" to then 5'10". Now he says he's 5'11". There's no way he's 5'11". There's no way. But
whether it's him with heels, Trump with a toupee, or Biden with clones and robots, who cares? They're all gonna suck.
They all do. They're all terrible. And then Matthew Perry from Friends died. What do you think of that one?
Never watched it.
No, but he was wearing T-shirts that said, "Could I be any more jabbed?"
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw Steve Cunningham's comments, of course.
Oh, I didn't. What did Steve say?
Basically that. Yeah.
Talking about that. Yeah, it's just, a guy drowns in his jacuzzi. You got to think something happened. I mean, the first thought is substance abuse because he struggled with it for so long. But they're saying they didn't find anything near the hot tub.
To be fair, a lifetime of substance abuse will give you a heart attack years later anyway, so who knows? Especially
in a hot tub. A hot tub gets your it's really dangerous, hot tubs, man. If you stay in too long, they get your heart rate going. That's why they really tell you not to let kids in there.
Especially if you're drinking alcohol or something with caffeine. I mean, could be any number of things.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And then what do you think of the hockey incident?
Well, do we have a clip of that? Should I? There's a slowed down one that doesn't show the
Yeah, not the after effects, but
Right.
show it. Let's look at it in slow-mo.
Okay, let me look. You keep talking while I look.
Yeah, because everybody's jumping and saying murder. It's not murder.
Unless he meant to, but
I
find that less likely than
I can see like manslaughter.
Unless he intended to kill him.
I mean, that seems unlikely.
It does seem unlikely.
It seems unlikely. I mean, it doesn't look like a legit hockey movie. I'm not a hockey guy, so I really don't know.
Okay, this one does.
It does not. I know hockey's rough and that they could check each other and things like that. I've never seen a roundhouse kick to the throat.
This one, I want to find the slowed down.
The slow-mo one, right?
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, I like.
So the guy that died. No, we're not.
We're not trying. This is newsworthy, guys.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, this. I mean, literally everyone's talking about this. Here we go. There.
All right, so let's just see it. Ooh, man. So, all right, can you?
Okay,
I don't know, man.
Here's my thing. Like you
going slow?
Yeah. So I forget the name of the guy who kicks here, but he hits this guy and it puts him off balance.
So you think he's just trying to balance himself out?
I think he throws that leg out to either try to balance himself, or he's trying to just block. Adam Johnson is his name, because he's the puck carrier there. So he's either trying to block him with his leg, and it just goes wrong because he's off balance, or he throws his leg out to balance himself. But yeah, what happens is he gets Adam Johnson in the throat,
right in the artery,
and Adam, basically bleeds out in the locker room.
Man, dude, I feel so. Oh, man, look, if he did not throw that leg up on purpose and he was just trying to catch his balance, I feel awful for him too.
Yeah, so Adam Johnson, the guy who died, he's from Minnesota. He's from about an hour away.
Yeah, somebody that follows me said he goes to mass with his grandmother and knows his family and stuff.
Yeah, Adrian says here, if you see the video, I would not watch it after what we just did because there's blood all over the ice. I mean,
yeah, no, we're not looking to show something horrific. We're just looking at the actual. I don't know, man. It's such a scary thing. Like, I mean, they're investigating it. It's so funny how people just go. It's what's really funny is that some of the people who were saying the Chauvin thing was or George Floyd was not murder are saying this is murder. Like it's
there's some big names that instantly jumped to it being
murder.
Yeah,
and that's crazy to me. It's like chill out. Like, you know, I don't know. You can't prove that from that video. I don't think.
And Jen is saying that the one guy was known for bad behavior, kicked out of 2 of the last 4 games. But like, number one, that this is the European Hockey League, not the NHL. So I think they're a little bit more strict about stuff. In that, I mean, there's a big jump from just being a bruiser on the ice and playing a little dirty to slashing someone's throat with your skate.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like the NHL. Remember, wasn't there like a couple of years there where they wouldn't allow fights, and their ratings plummeted?
Well, I think it was after. There was one, I forget.
He got paralyzed, right?
Yeah.
He got hit and he got paralyzed. So they said no more fights on the ice or no more. I don't know if it was no more checking or I don't follow hockey, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, they tried to take the fist fights out of hockey for a while, and the ratings plummeted. Nobody wanted to see them anymore. Like the whole point of going to a hockey game is you want to see a few fist fights.
Well, it wasn't funny. I think it wasn't just the fights. They cracked down on some of the harder hits.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if.
See, that's what
I think it's harder to purposefully, like when you're skating as fast as these guys skate, you're you're being hit by one guy, about to hit another. I think it's harder for you to intentionally kick someone like that than it is for a freak accident. And actually,
okay, to say it was deliberate, the kick could be deliberate. Doesn't mean he meant to kick the throat.
Even then, I don't even know if that kick is deliberate. I saw a different angle that showed it a little bit better. But see his left foot right here?
It's already
from
up.
Another angle. I think you see that left foot actually hit the skate of the player in front of him, almost like that glancing blow throws his foot up. I mean, that does not look controlled at all. Plus, his head, you can't really, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see, but his head and his hand, like he's worried about this stuff here. That's what it looks like to me.
Man, I don't know hockey well enough to know. Like, are you allowed to kick someone in the chest?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah,
no,
so
right?
Mac did play hockey, and yeah, I think the skate was deflected and his leg was just out of control.
I hope that's what it was, man. Because there's a whole lot of jokes going around right now about why people are less than 1% of hockey players.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the guy who skate did this, yeah, he's one of the few black hockey players.
The guy reportedly could not stop crying. That's good to know. All right.
Yeah, so that's what I heard.
That adds some context. I mean, come on. There's no way he deliberately tried to kill the guy. The kick could be delivered. This to say it's murder is crazy. I mean, I want to give the benefit of the doubt and think that somebody's not an evil. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But yeah, Jen is right. More than anything, just pray for the soul of Adam Johnson.
Yeah.
And his family.
Let's see. Okay, so then the other thing is News 12 Long Island had a little story. Now, I remember growing up, you always had the news stories coming around about razor blades in the candy at Halloween.
Oh yeah, razor blades, needles,
razor blades and needles in the candy. And now the funny thing is that is an urban legend. It never happened, but every year the news stories would pump these scary stories that to terrify parents because fear sells, right? So this year the new fear is marijuana in the candy. Now we'll play the clip real quick and then because Rob actually pointed something out to me, so we'll see.
Important that you know where your kids are going, that you go with their kids when they're trick-or-treating, and that you tell your children not to eat the candy until they bring it home and the parents get an opportunity with their children to inspect the treats. It's important.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't edit out my screen record there. I try to do that actually. So yeah, I just assumed this was another scare the crap out of the parents thing, but Rob made a good point.
Yeah, so in August, Minnesota legalized marijuana. And I mean, even in the 2-3 months, marijuana is just showing up everywhere. I mean, we're talking like behind the cashier in the grocery stores, at gas stations, there's gummies, there's hard candy. I mean, it's all different sorts all over the place. It wouldn't surprise me if somehow, I mean, and it does look like candy.
It's too expensive to give to kids.
Okay, so fair.
The thing is, there are sickos out there, right? That'll just throw. I mean, I don't think they would give it to every kid because that would cost a lot of money, I guess. But you know, there are people who would do something sick like that. But I don't think it's actually a threat. I think it's just another one of those things they're trying to scare people.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying it's too expensive. So yeah, I mean,
candy's expensive enough.
I just remember every year they would drum it into your heads. Kids, don't eat the candy unless your parents check the wrappers. My parents never checked the wrappers anyway.
There were some years like my grandma and mom they wouldn't like unwrap every piece, but they would go through it, you know.
You feel it.
Yeah.
It never happened. It's one of those, it's an urban legend. I think maybe it did happen one time.
But I think it was
the kid's
like,
parents or something.
Right, exactly. It was
Like a family member
screwed
had
up.
done it to the kid, and it was some crazy thing like that. I mean,
Adrian, I give whole candy bars in my house, but dime bags is too rich.
The thing is, I went to a Halloween party Saturday, and you can't even post any pictures of the party because all the girls dress so bad. It's just like, ladies, what are you doing? I don't get it.
We drove 2 hours to our TLM parish because they had an All Saints party where all the kids dressed up as saints and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was all the
that's
Novus
actually
Ordo
cool.
side of that parish.
That's all right.
it was still a good time. Yep.
Yeah. So we did. My son was Jack Sparrow. He killed it. I should actually see if I could send you the picture. My son was Jack Sparrow, but yeah, I don't know. Halloween. We did an episode on it last year. I have no problem whatsoever with Halloween. It's just the way Halloween is celebrated currently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just out of hand usually, you know. What if you celebrate it properly?
Our neighborhood trick-or-treating is going to be a little spookier than normal tomorrow because we had a double homicide on our
what happened with that? What happened with that?
So an older couple on our street. Our street is like a semicircle, right? So there's probably 40 houses on our block, whatever. So on the other side of it, basically a block down, was an older couple in their late 70s. And they were allowing someone to temporarily live with them in their garage, like a garage apartment sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they knew this guy or what relation he might have been, but he was mid 50s. And I guess maybe they were trying to kick him out or something, but he killed them. And I guess he drove to the next big city, like 2 hours away, and told someone or was bragging about it or something. They called the cops.
That's how he got caught.
They called the cops. The cops came yesterday morning at like 8 a.m., found the bodies in the house. And then the Minnesota Bureau, like Minnesota State Police, were there all day investigating, but they found the guy right away, arrested him. He's in jail.
Oof. You think you're living in a nice, safe place, Rob?
Oh, I know. 1,500 people. Like, so small towns statistically actually tend to have more violent crime per person than like a big city, but it's generally like family stuff, domestic stuff, or it's meth or other drugs. Generally, if you stay away from like meth or other crimes in a small town, you're safe, right? There's no random acts of violence like there's in a city, but
that's typically what it is. It's usually a family member. That's how that always goes.
Yeah.
You want to stick with the Halloween theme and we'll do that Ouija board story?
Sure.
Yeah, so Fox News had a priest on.
They don't have a great record with priests, do they?
No, it was Father Jonathan Morris.
Right. Do we want the video or the story?
It'll probably be an ad if we play the video, so let's just read it.
Okay.
So, angels, demons, spirits, and souls do exist, says exorcist priest who warns against Ouija board use. Ouija boards and other attempts to converse with the dead are spiritually dangerous practices that should not be viewed as innocent fun, an exorcist priest told Fox News Digital. We too often forget that there is much more to this world than meets the eye, Father Dan Reel told Fox News Digital. Angels, demons, spirits, and souls do exist, and they can have an impact on your life. Rehill is a priest of the Diocese of Nashville. In 2018, he received exorcism training at whatever.
That's when you need Mark Robertson to pronounce that stuff for you.
Who's Mark Robertson from the 700 Club? Oh, Mark, our friend Mark.
Wow.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
Our friend Mark.
I'm sending them this.
Yeah, don't mess with Ouija boards. Did you see the video I posted the other day of the mother in her basement talking to her daughter, and her daughter is like tweaking out?
I saw the I didn't like actually watch the video, but I saw the.
I forgot if there's. I could send it to you, but I don't remember if there's bad language in it. I think it's good. I think we could play it. Let me see, because here it is. Let me see.
Everyone is disgusted that you forgot about Mark.
I didn't forget about him. I just forgot about him.
You forgot his last name.
I just forgot about him. Because to me, he's just Mark the lawyer.
Just Mark the lawyer.
Mark the lawyer to get us out of jail. Yeah, we don't use each other's last names very often. All right, I just sent it to you. Yeah, I think we could play. I think I cut out the curses in it. Let's hope. Keep your fingers crossed.
Oh gosh.
So this is why this is wild, because you do have parents actually doing stuff like this.
Okay, here we go.
Came in my room. I'll have her tell you what she just asked me for. What do you need?
Mom, I need everything you have for a satanic ritual.
Okay. Okay, so what do you want? But I don't think I have.
Makes me believe I slayed the parent thing.
What is satanic ritual for? To do what? This will be news to me.
I don't know.
You don't know why you're summoning the Dark Lord?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh God, you're fucking weird.
You guessed it right. Her daughter is doing.
Yeah. So the daughter is clearly on some kind of substance, the way she's acting, but or possessed. But parents are actually. I mean, this is how far our culture has fallen. This is crazy. They think this is something they'll just play around with.
Yep.
Kids are playing with Ouija boards and stuff. I mean, it's just nuts. And then you have horror movies that come out that actually encourage it and stuff. It's just, I mean, I don't know, man. We're in wild times.
To be fair, like, if Ouija boards are bad, think what it's going to be in a decade with AI. I mean, if all a Ouija board is basically you opening yourself up to, you know, you're thinking another entity. You know, of course, it's a demon. But if it's just you opening yourself up to communication, what's AI when you're asking what you think is a computer to, you know, asking it a simple question, you know, that's, I'm sure is innocent, right? Because you want a specific answer. You're not like conversing with the thing, but if like if you go to AI and you're opening yourself up to communication, like
they'll probably come out with an AI Ouija board.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're working on it right now.
They will probably come out with an AI Ouija board, and it will be marketed as a little gimmick and a fun thing for kids to do.
Put in the name of the spirit you want to talk to, and then, of course, AI can search the internet for everything about them, and you know, eventually it's going to be able to do voices and videos of people who have passed, right?
Yeah, that's true. Look, they have an app for that already.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. And then the last Halloween thing we'll go with, let's show the ghost, but you can't play the volume on this. The volume is pretty funny with the curses in it.
Yeah, it makes it,
but it's too many curses. Nah. This is all right. So this guy made his drone look like a ghost, and he scares the living hell out of people, and it's hilarious.
So the commentary he's giving is
it's
vulgar,
like,
but it's hilarious.
Give me your soul, give me your soul. This thing, if you saw that thing, that would scare the hell out of you.
I tell you one thing, that dude's drone would have a couple 9mm holes in it.
Yeah, for sure, bro. People just freaking out of that to come after you.
Most exercise she's had in a while.
These guys, you got 3 men. They're gonna run away.
You'd think they'd want to stay and fight.
Fight it.
Nope.
I gotta get a drone, dude. That is too funny.
I was at Sam's Club the other day and I almost bought one.
How expensive are they now?
You can get, I think, an okay one with an okay camera for like $500.
My son spent that on a Lego set yesterday.
What?
He got a $500 Rivendell.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
He got Rivendell. $500.
It's a little more nerdy than I thought.
It's like six. He always loves Legos, but it's like 6,000 pieces, man. It's gonna take him a long time.
Joe figured out what he's doing this weekend. Find a drone.
He's gonna buy a drone and make ghosts. All right, I guess we should talk about the Synod.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we will. We'll talk about the Synod. So we can go. I say we go with the Where Peter Is article. Because I like hearing it from them, what they think.
Are they capable of thought?
It used to be where you would want to go to a place like Life Site and you would say, oh, don't read NCR. They're, fish wrap. But the thing is, they seem to be the ones more in alignment with the current ideology. So it's almost like they will tell you what they're disappointed in.
True.
They'll tell you where they didn't think it went far enough.
And they won't make up lies about what Francis said.
Right. Yeah, no, they're gonna tell you where he didn't go far enough. Whereas we're gonna view everything through a lens of this is the worst thing ever, and they're looking at it from the opposite perspective, saying this didn't go far enough. So I don't think we got to read the whole article, but
of course,
let's see where the good parts are. All right, let's go down to during a recent press briefing.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. During a recent press briefing, Vatican's communication prefect, Paolo Ruffini, mentioned that the Synod rules only allowed for yes or no votes without the possibility of its abstention. Presumably, everyone who was present voted on every paragraph. The votes were done electronically and were encrypted so that the voting would be anonymous. Interesting to note is that not a single paragraph received a unanimous vote. 3 individual paragraphs and a 3-page introduction each received 1 no vote, and another 12 or so paragraphs received only 2 no votes. The concluding section received 10 no votes. So what does that mean? That even...
Wait, does this article even tell you how many people are there? Because okay. So the concluding paragraph received the most no votes, still approved by 80% of the participants.
Okay. So does he actually go into, okay, let's see.
So if it's all done anonymously, that means a vote by a woman layperson who wants to be ordained has the exact same weight as the vote of a cardinal of the church.
All right, that's true. All right, but wait, let's go down to chapter 9, Women in the Life and Mission of the Church, because I haven't read this yet. I haven't read any of this yet. I don't know. So this got 277 yes votes, 69 no votes.
So this was the one that got the most no votes.
Okay, so different positions have been expressed regarding women's access to the diaconal ministry. For some, this step would be unacceptable because they consider it a discontinuity with tradition. For others, however, opening access for women to the diaconate would restore the practice of the early church. Others still discern it as an appropriate and necessary response to the signs of the times, faithful to the tradition, and one that would find an echo in the hearts of many who seek new energy and vitality in the church. Some express concern that the request speaks of a worrying anthropological confusion, which, if granted, would marry the church to the spirit of the age. I'm surprised they actually put in some of the fears.
I'm just wondering, what about that are you voting yes or no to? Are you voting yes or no, like that should be included in the document?
Yeah, because they a lot of the... All right, so let's see. Cardinal Supich and McElroy promote Synod's urgent call for female governance. So Cardinals, McElroy and Supich, both of whom were personal appointees to the Synod by Francis, once again expressed an urgent need to explore the role of women in the church, governance, and leadership. Given their thoughts on the Synod and Synodality's process, saying that it is impossible for the church to go back, and mentioning a need to officially recognize women as pastors. Both cardinals were personal appointees to the Synod by the Pope. With the Synod's 2023 meeting having concluded, members are no longer having to practice as much secrecy surrounding the discussions for the past 4 weeks. Speaking to America Magazine, Superch praised the synodal experience in particular. The document is not as important as the experience that we had, he said. I think the document tries to convey that experience. He highlighted how the synod synthesis document looks to restructure all future synods rather than going back to what we did before. Superch defended the lay voters at the synod, something which has sparked widespread criticism of making the synod canonically not a synod. He stated that there was no need to go back. We have made some real progress here, and the bishops enjoyed having lay people there. What do you think the motivation is for this?
For the whole synod?
Why does the hierarchy want, like, is this just a way for them to push the responsibility elsewhere for things? I don't understand why they want lay participation in these things.
Well, when they only invite lay people of a certain type, it's clearly just to pad the numbers. I would say so.
Oh, man.
It's the last dying gasp of the revolution.
Such themes were echoed by McElroy, citing the fact that Catholics are all baptized. Superch argued that lay voting was key for the church's future. We all have authority, and that means we all have something to say. But they don't recognize our authority. It's not that they're just bringing lay people in. Like you said, they're bringing lay people of a certain persuasion in to actually overturn everything. It's just so bad. This is why I didn't want to talk about this.
I mean, when all the lay people they invite in want women ordination, support abortion, like if it was like, why not invite Dr. K in? You know, why not? There's a million lay people, and not even like rads. Like just Scott Hahn. You know what I mean? Like there's a million.
He used to be like Benedict's. He had a very big position under the Benedict pontificate where he was head of some theological department under him. It's just getting bonkers. So now they left off. They have this future working document for the next synod, and they're saying that they want this synod to come back and work in the parishes now, right?
That's what who was it? Reese? Thomas Reese. That's what he said. They want each, parish. He literally said, like, do the synod. Like, where they want these discussions, and it's just a top down, or really a bottom up revolution.
See, they were making a big deal out of there not being anything about the rainbow agenda in the synod document. But I don't think they needed it, because I think what happened before the synod was the explosion. That whole response to the dubia was all they needed. They didn't need to even address it at this thing. I mean, they talked about it at this synod, but they didn't need to put it in any kind of final document, because that whole thing with the dubia that happened right before the synod started was the pronouncement on it. It was basically, hey, go do what you guys want to do. Nobody's going to stop you. Go and show pastoralness, whatever that means. Yeah. Go be pastors to these people, however you plan to do it, and nobody will stop you.
And there's, I was just going to say, there's two things that overshadowed the synod completely. One is Bishop Schneider's credo. I mean, like Adrian says there, it got as much press in its first week as the synod has all year. And then, of course, Rupnik.
That's the funny thing, because when you say it got as much press, it's the only people that give the synod press are conservatives and trads. Because you have to think about it. Who's really reading NCR? Who's really reading Where Peter Is?
Us, so we can make fun of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we're their biggest audience, right? So whatever press the synod got, it was really from us. And so the Rupnik thing was wild, though, because that was towards the end. It was the last week, and they wanted all this fanfare to come out about the synod, and instead they incarnate this guy in a diet. What were they thinking?
They did that in June. It
How did the news just
took
break?
4 months for them to get that news out.
How did that news break? Who broke that story?
I forget. I don't know if I might not actually know who broke it.
I know I saw Damian Thompson talking about it and a few other people, but I think it was, oh man, I don't know who it was.
It wasn't Diane Montaigne, was it?
No, I don't think so. She was focused on the Synod. It was it was outside of that. But then once the news broke, I think she tried to ask me. Yeah, it was wow. The Pillar broke the story. Look, the Pillar, when they get something, they do follow it. I don't agree with JD Flynn's theology for the most part, but when he gets something, he goes with it. But the idea that they would incarnate this guy, and then it forced Francis's hand to but if he had the ability to get rid of the statute of limitations before that, why wouldn't he? That's what I mean. He has the authority to get rid of the statute.
He had the authority to stop the incarnation.
That too. I'm assuming the incarnation happened at his request.
Could be.
How could it?
I don't know. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to.
With his record, what diocese would incarnate him without direction from above? Because when they asked at the press conference, they said, "How did this happen?" I think whoever responded to it from the Holy See press office said every diocese has a bishop, almost to pass the buck on the bishop of that diocese.
He threw that guy right under the bus.
Threw him right under the bus, and then tried to say Francis was. Oh, well, look what Francis is doing. He's reopening the investigation and he's getting rid of the statute of limitations.
4 months late.
Now, what does that mean, though? Does that mean he'll be tried in a Vatican court? For legally, or is this still canonically?
Legally. It's all just canonically.
It's all going to be canonical. So
right.
The worst
the Vatican can't throw him in jail.
So the worst he'll get is laicized.
Yeah, that's the most they can do. I suppose they theoretically could excommunicate him, stuff like that. But he's gonna So and he'll only be laicized if we keep the pressure up.
Yeah. So then you had McCarrick happened.
Mm-hmm.
He got laicized, and then they pushed his court date off so long that when he finally got to court, he's now 90 something, and he's I have dementia. I can't even face these charges.
Right, exactly. And so now none of everything he knows doesn't get released. Same thing with Rupnik. Rupnik was a high-ranking Jesuit, like the Pope.
Wait, what am I missing here?
Francis met with Soros Jr. before the Synod. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, I say. Wait, what is this though? You are right, Doctor, but the algorithm can change. Yeah. How far back?
Don't even bother. There's someone in here who thought that we were claiming Catholicism is Babylon. Like that we were Protestant.
Okay,
it took them a while to realize that we're actually Catholic.
That's actually funny. We'll rope some Protestants in, thinking that they're looking for something to talk bad about the Catholic Church. Yeah, it's just crazy these days, man. I don't know what happens from here. I don't know what next year. So now next year they have their Synod wrap up. That's the final one, and then we get a document from Francis, right?
I don't know if we get a document from Francis or some sort of concluding document from the Synod and then a response from Francis. I don't know. No one knows. This is all just made up BS.
Yeah, and they want to have this perpetual synod so that whatever they can't ram through because they have too much static, they could do it incrementally. So this has all come about because of communists, atheists, free thinkers, and those little men in aprons and white gloves who like cutting stuff. Yeah, that's true. It really is, though, right? You sound like a nut when you talk about them, but
but it's
it really is the case.
It really is, yeah.
Let's see what else do we have.
What else we got going on?
And then Cardinal Mueller says it's preparing us to accept same-sex whatever and women's ordination. So all is being turned around so that now we must be open to same-sex marriage, we'll say. and and the ordination of women. If you analyze it, all is about converting us to these two themes, the cardinal said. The synod and synodality is being tightly controlled and used to prepare Catholics to accept. I don't know why they just repeat the same things in the headline. Cardinal Mueller said, blasting pro same-sex ideology is the spirit of Antichrist. The former prefect for the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith made his latest scathing comments about the synod and heterodoxy in the church in an interview with the National Catholic Register on Friday, the same day that he published an essay in First Things warning that a pope would automatically lose his office by teaching heresy. This is funny that you have these guys all coming out and saying this.
Mm-hmm.
If Cardinal Mueller's saying that, what does that mean? Now, how do you accuse the Pope of that?
I don't know, especially because like the whole notion, that whole kind of theory, right? That if the Pope teaches heresy, he loses his office. Like, you know, that's not dogmatic. There's back and forth on that between different theologians and saints even. So
And what does
for
that
someone
mean?
like Cardinal Mueller to say that, it's like, is he saying that because they think they've caught him in some sort of official heresy and they want to make a move against him? Same thing with the dubia, right? Like that was really,
I think that was an attempt of them to
I think
do
so
that.
too. I honestly think that there might be a group of cardinals that are really trying to nail him for some sort of formal heresy, hoping that they can then do something about it. Whether that's right or they're right or wrong, I don't know. No one does.
Yeah, the dubia Cardinals were trying to get Francis to affirm previously condemned positions. The way they worded those questions.
The way they worded the reworded ones, definitely.
They were trying to get him to affirm a previously condemned position, an anathematized position. And once again, what you got was gobbledygook that meant nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wiggled his way around it, whoever wrote it.
Especially if they can lock him in on some sort of actual heresy, does that mean the cardinals he's appointed they can keep out of the next conclave?
See, what's funny about that is all the cardinals that he appointed while Benedict was alive went to see Benedict.
Yeah. So it's just it would be just the cardinals from this last consistory.
Yeah. I think if it ever came to that, that's how it would go. It would be whoever this last consistory, and he may have another one next year.
It usually every September.
Right. I mean, I think he's been doing that. I mean, he's really stacked the deck.
Yeah, hold on. There was a question.
Yeah, guys, we could use listener feedback tonight because we don't really want to talk about the synod right here. All that's in the news. So
hypothetical. If Francis at the end of the synod, let's say he strongly and unambiguously reaffirms Catholic positions, do you think people apologize to him? Do you apologize? Do I like if he comes out at is no nonsense, like reaffirms everything very
I would praise God for his conversion. I would praise God for his conversion. I mean, would I apologize for him for all the things I've said?
I would admit that I was I would say I would admit that I was wrong, but I would also say I would say I think people would understand why people said the things that were said up until that point.
Let me ask Super Sad 64, because I've asked this before. Do you think Francis has taught that same-sex acts are not sinful? And you would say no on paper, but the actions he has performed by inviting these pro unnatural acts groups in, like New Ways Ministry and James Martin, by holding them up and writing them public letters saying continue in your ministry, how is that not a form of teaching? I mean, it's not officially in the document that he puts out, but he's through his. I mean, if you're a father and you're teaching your kid one thing with your words and doing the exact opposite, you're teaching him something opposite to what you want him to learn.
That's true. He could come out and be very straightforward and say all these things are wrong. But if he doesn't also get rid of James Martin and things like that, then you're right. It's no different than what he's been doing then, honestly.
So for him to come out and preach or come out with these perfectly orthodox positions, he would himself have to publicly repent of the confusion. I mean, okay, so I 100% get the scandalous double talk we perceive, but again, the Holy Spirit gives the Pope his charism that we do not have. God will, yeah. So, but okay, so what is that charism? It's a negative charism. It doesn't mean the Pope can't. It doesn't mean the Pope can't say terrible things. It doesn't mean he can't be a bad Pope. It means that he won't officially promulgate heresy.
And it doesn't. Being a negative charism, it doesn't mean that everything that is said perfectly, or everything that needs to be said is said. It just means everything that is said in official, ex cathedra statements.
I think it's more than ex cathedra.
Well, if we're talking about,
and the other thing is, we don't have the authority to say Francis is an anti-pope, but if a future pope decides he was, I mean, how does that work, right? There have been anti-popes in the history of the church,
but not like this.
Not like this, right?
Now where there is no,
multiple
especially now that Benedict is gone.
Yeah,
there's no other claimant. Man, unless it's Pope Michael II, and we've all been wrong, guys. We've all been so wrong.
I hate this stuff, man. I just want to be
Catholic. Want to go to my parish that's 5 minutes down the block and have a traditional reverent mass that I can go to and raise my kids in the faith in. That's all I freaking want, people.
Yeah. I'm not trying to push theories. You're right. Every thought and word we say will be judged by. Yeah, I'm not trying. No, but at the same time, we have to, when some of these actions are committed, you have to correct them, right? And you could see since the Novus Ordo liturgy has come about, there is a conditioning that has gone on to desensitize people to the idea of women in the sanctuary, to desensitize people to the sacred, so that if they do put something forward like a female diaconate, even if they don't call it that, because that's what I really think they're going to do. I think they're going to.
We already have that. I mean,
right.
Let's be honest. The Novus Ordo already has that.
Essentially, but I think they're going to have vestments.
There's women in vestments at Novus Ordos now.
I haven't seen that. I've never seen that.
At the Novus Ordo I grew up in, which was at a parish that had a TLM as well, back before Summorum Pontificum, the Eucharistic ministers would wear. It wasn't an official vestment, right? It was
girl altar boys. They wear something.
They were vestments, yeah. But the Eucharistic ministers would wear this white vestment. It wasn't it wasn't
something
official.
A priest would wear. Yeah.
No, not at all. But both the men and women would wear it. It was it was by definition a liturgical vestment.
Man, I think that has contributed to the gender confusion as much as anything else. I really do. I think that has led in our culture. I have my old bishop's assistant as a woman and wears a white alb, follows him around the sanctuary.
That's a female deacon.
Yeah.
That's a deaconess right there.
So she doesn't have orders, right? She doesn't
have. Of course not.
So you could see.
And they never will. It's impossible.
Yeah, this isn't a theory that they're going to raise women to the priesthood. And I don't think they can actually make them, give them holy orders in that respect. I just think it will be, for all intents and purposes, a female diaconate. I think they really want to let women preach.
Yep.
Going explicitly against what St. Paul said. I've already been to Novus Ordos where women preached. It wasn't officially preaching. It was, they had a women, a sister come in to talk about
their mission
or something like that. Right. So they're already trying to brace you for it. But I think that has led to gender confusion as much as anything else, as much as David Bowie prancing around in makeup in the 80s, as much as, you know, the hair
maybe
bands
not
of the
quite
80s.
as much as that.
I don't know, man. I think almost more. It's led, look, I think girl altar boys has led girls to want to be priests because that's the intention of an altar boy. Like the whole purpose of altar boys is to inspire young men to the priesthood. So if you put girls there, what do you think the logical outcome is going to be?
To be fair, so the parish I grew up in, I was an altar server, had both boys and girls. The two could never serve together. So
Really?
Yeah. So we had, like I said, a decent priest and a couple of old Benedictine sisters, and the whole idea of having girl altar boys was, you know, basically it was all the laity wanted that, right? So the sisters who were in charge of the altar server program came up with the rule that you'll have altar girls, but they can't serve with the boys. So the mass was either all altar boys or all altar girls. And the altar girls had to wear different vestments, you know, some just like white robe with a sash, whereas the altar boys had the cassock and the surplice and all that.
Okay, so Andrew says he refuses to receive from an extraordinary minister.
Yep. I no longer will.
But if the priest catches you switching lines, be careful, because sometimes a priest will not give you communion because he knows that's what you did. That's how crazy this gets. So wait, what was I gonna go?
But all the altar girls that I grew up with, there's not a single one of them that is a member of the church anymore. Not a one.
That's crazy. They're driving not just the girls away, they're driving the boys away, because a boy isn't going to want to be an altar server if there's girls there, you know. And look at what, like, that's what started Father Dave Nix down his journey toward being a monk, because he was a regular parish priest serving at the Novus Ordo, and the first thing he wanted to get rid of was altar girls. And that's what started the friction between him and his bishop. And he just got to a point where he said he could no longer say the Novus Ordo missal. So I saw something I wanted to bring up there. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, I've done that. I've not received intentionally. So in the one parish I go to, sometimes the girls are only allowed to carry the cross down the aisle and only wear a white robe. So I don't know. I just think that whole act of having women in that role discourages young men from the faith. I just do. And I think if you discourage the young men from the faith, this is the problem, where you see even Francis talks about it, and a lot of the current hierarchy talk about it, where it's women are the ones passing on the faith to our children. We have to break because women are this and women are that. That's really true, because they've made men not want anything to do with it anymore. But when the man takes an active role in teaching the faith to his children, you get a much different outcome typically. You know, I mean, in my family, there's 9 kids, and I think it's 6 out of the 9. Oh, I think 5 out of the 9 go to mass. One of my siblings doesn't go to mass, but believes in God. And then the other 3, non-existent. So me and Rob are both coughing. You guys are getting 1 hour tonight. Just a heads up. We were going to do tomorrow, but tomorrow's Halloween, and I know Rob's probably going to take his kids trick-or-treating. My kids are having their friends at my house. So I told them they could all hang in the backyard and just, you know, hang here tomorrow. So my kids are getting older. They can't trick-or-treat anymore. So they're going to have a few friends over. So we figured we'd go on tonight, but then Rob was sick today. And I'm like, we'll go and do an hour for everybody. But Thursday we have Taylor Marshall.
That's right. That is Thursday.
Thursday is Taylor Marshall, and Margot will not be there. Let's see. On that note, a tall choir loft is permissible use for extraordinary minister. Yes or no?
I would. That is one of the few cases I would say, yeah. Obviously, a deacon. Not that I'm a big fan of permanent deacons, anyways, but a deacon would be better if possible. But yeah, I don't expect the one priest who is doing all the.
Wait a minute. What is that? Wait, what do you mean by that? So, a tall choir loft.
Like the Cathedral of St. Paul, or that I grew up by, has a choir loft. You know, it's 100. The church is 100 yards long.
I got
the choir loft is up 3 stories of stairs. You know, is in that case, can you send an extraordinary minister?
Yeah, look, that's the thing though. Extraordinary ministers, it's not that they're terrible in theory.
I would say that's an extraordinary case.
Yes.
Or an extraordinary minister.
That's exactly right. So it's the idea of an extraordinary minister. I understand it, but what they did with it was I've been at a church where there are 3 priests and one of them doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And there's 3 women with the
to be fair though, in the TLM, there is no music or chant usually playing during communion.
Oh, the choir comes down.
So the choir in that case could just come down and receive like everyone else. Whereas in the Novus Ordo, you have a communion hymn played during reception of communion. So in that case, once again, it's a problem created by the Novus Ordo.
Yeah, because every single mass I go to, the choir comes down and receives before everybody.
Right, because you receive communion in silence.
Well, they'll receive and then they'll go up to the loft and then they'll even do something after they all go back up and have their, like they will, but extraordinary circumstance. That's what, just like everything else, they take the extraordinary circumstance and they make it the norm. Just like this. Look, so we don't want to have theories and we don't want to talk bad about the part. Like we really don't. That's not what this is. That's why we didn't even want to talk about the Synod. I was hoping something else would come up in the news today, but that's all every story was. I mean, I searched the news all day. I'm like, please let something come up. I don't want to talk about this stupid. I can't wait till it's in the past. But at the same time, it did happen. We were supposed to get Nick on. Nick's at Clear Creek Abbey this week, so Nick couldn't come on. And then I was thinking about asking Tim Gordon to come on because he's been covering the Synod relentlessly. I just didn't even care to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. But we're getting Taylor on Thursday, right?
And we're going to talk about his fiction books, actually, right?
We're going to talk about his fiction books. We're going to talk about. I want to talk to him about the apocalypse too, because he just wrote the book on the apocalypse. I want to get into a little bit about the Israel situation, and I want to talk to him, a little bit about that. And I'm sure I'll ask him a couple other things too, but the only way he won't make it is if the only option he has for mass is at night. But I think he said there's probably one during the day. So if he can't come Thursday, we'll get him following Tuesday or something. We'll figure something out.
I wonder if we should push it to 7:30 because my only mass might be at 6 p.m.
We could even go late.
So it'd be 8:30 your time.
Yeah. If you want to do 8:30, we could do that.
I might have to.
Okay. Yeah, I got to go to mass too. I'm going to try and go during the day though.
So Sam, he's writing a 4th book in the Sword and Serpent series. This one will be specifically about Saint Nicholas, who did appear in the other 3 books in the series.
Yeah, I only read the first one. It's been a while. I should probably break that thing open, get some refreshers on it. So
break that thing open? You mean open the audio file?
No, I actually have the hardcover.
Oh, okay.
Because I read it with my daughter. So I actually have the hardcover. I gotta look for it. Got it somewhere.
Because each of the books only about 8 hours or so on audio. You could do that over 3 days at work.
That's true. Especially listening at 2 times the speed. They actually were very good books. They were actually really good. And I think I want to ask him just how the story came to his mind. I mean, to write a trilogy and now a fourth book. He said those are his favorite books that he wrote. So somebody asked him if you could bring, if you only had one of your books to, if somebody was only going to read one of your books, which one would it be, or something like that. And he said the Sword and Serpent book, because it's fiction. You don't, what are you going to do? You're going to read a biblical study book over and over and over again, where a fiction book, some people read Lord of the Rings every single year. Some people read Michael D. O'Brien's books. I've read, so Father Elijah I've read twice, and Voyage to Alpha Centauri I've read 3 times. If you never read that book,
I've never read any
Alpha
other
Centauri
books.
is a phenomenal book. I love that book. It's one of my favorites I've ever read. It's one of my favorite fiction books I've ever read. I've never read Lord of the Rings, though. I've seen the movies 25 times.
You've never read any of the Lord of the Rings books?
Never read any of the Lord of the Rings books. Daunting. It's such a long book.
Well, if I were you, I would read the Silmarillion, just because I know how much you love scripture, and the Silmarillion, especially the beginning. I mean, it's
a creation,
it's like
myth,
Genesis. Right? Yeah, exactly.
All right, maybe I will. Everybody's saying I got to read it. All right, let's call this show a wrap. We will be back on Thursday, hopefully with Taylor Marshall, as long as the schedule allows for it.
Don't just shut up, Sean. he is right. Like the Hobbit is a kid's book. Like, that's an easy read.
I'd rather start with the Fellowship, though. Because the Fellowship is, I don't know.
The Hobbit you can do in like three hours probably if you're reading.
Oh, it's that short?
Yeah, it's a short one. I think it's a little over 100 pages.
All right.
The Silmarillion is a hard read because it's separate stories, and it is like, it's myth. So it's a hard read, but
everyone's saying start with the Hobbit. I think I'm going to start with the Fellowship. I'm going to, because I have the Fellowship. I actually have it, and I think I read the first chapter or 2, and there's like this guy Tom Bombadil in there. I'm like, who's this guy? He's not in the movie.
That's another. I don't like Tom Bombadil. I really don't.
But I figured I could skim through it because I've seen the movies, but there's characters in the book that aren't in the movie. And I'm like, oh, I actually got to read this. I don't know what the heck is going on here.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, Aragorn is kind of an entirely different character.
Is he?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, in the movie, he's like this reluctant king, right? In the book, he's not.
Wait, why did they cut Tom Bombadil or whatever his name is? Why'd they cut him?
Man, you'll see. You'll see why.
Is he annoying?
The dude just, he sings. Just constantly sings. And he's a weird character. Like, you don't know what he is. He claims to be older than everything in Middle-earth. But so does that make him a Maiar like Gandalf and
so he's not a hobbit?
Tom Bombadil? No, he's some sort of like primeval ancient being, possibly spirit / angel. No one knows.
Wow. All right. I'm reading the Fellowship.
Okay.
I'm reading the Fellowship. We're gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to give everybody my review. I know Don will be thrilled if I read it. It's his favorite book.
Should I read it with you?
You want to
read it? It's been a long time since I've read it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. And
should we do a podcast series on it?
Maybe we'll do something for locals.
That might be fun to do for locals.
Do something for locals. I don't know how much interest there is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Father Dave Nix recommended the Mary Like Modesty Handbook that St. Jerome's School was selling. They contacted me to see where I heard of this book because there was such a demand for it all of a sudden. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, you know what? We don't. Yeah, Wednesday is the holy day of obligation.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, yeah, November 1st.
Dr. Marshall must just be talking about All Souls Day Mass.
Yeah, he's going to go to All Souls Day Mass. Yeah. All right, so we could go to Mass on Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, he's doing the Fellowship? Oh, man.
Well, he's doing Lord of the Rings. The book, I mean, it was originally all just one long book. They separated them later.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, when they first sold that, it was sold as one book?
Yeah, here, let me go grab mine. I'll show you.
You're telling me you have the trilogy in one book? Go get it. Go get it. That is wild. I thought it was always a trilogy. Oh, Joe, we got to talk, Joe. Joe, we have to talk because I just finished watching Alone, Australia, and a woman won. This is the first time a woman ever won Alone, and it was, of course, Australia, because Australian men are, I'm not trying to be mean here, but they're wimps. I never saw so much crying from men in my life than I did on Alone, Australia.
I have it in a box somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Oh, you just made me go on by myself. So I finished Alone, Australia.
Is it as bad as it sounds?
A woman won.
Oh, terrible.
Australian men. Every episode they were crying. I got PTSD. I got PTSD.
From what, your war with the emus?
Dude, apparently the guy was in Iraq. I can't understand how they got from the word snowing. Snowing.
Snowing.
He's
snowing, mate.
I don't get the Australian accent.
Australian masculinity died with Steve Irwin.
Oh, dude, it was so weak to see some of these men. All right, so the two contestants at the end. One was a woman who, this woman was, I mean, she was a beast. This chick deserved to win.
We might be screwing up our chance with Frad. Do we want to continue?
Yeah, he's not calling us. He's going on sabbatical. Did you watch that interview?
No.
Well, Lila Rose,
I don't watch his.
He's taking a 6-month sabbatical. He's going to have somebody else come in and do. If he doesn't give me the interview gig, it's going to be a problem. I want the interview gig. Apparently, he's letting somebody else do the interviews on his channel. If he lets Thursday do it, that channel he could throw it in the garbage. Holy shit. So Alone Australia, the last two, this guy Mike and this lady Gina, and the girl Gina was amazing, man. This chick could have thrived out there for 10 years, and the guy Mike never had a chance. So they wound up pulling the guy Mike from. I hope I'm not ruining this for anybody. I'm not mocking veterans. This guy, he cried every episode. I don't know why, but they pulled the guy Mike because he had low blood pressure, like 2 or 3 med checks in a row. And the guy, he was in pretty bad shape, but I wanted him to win too. So, so Matt Fradd was on with Lila Rose and talking about how the podcast is getting to him. He's got a little bit of burnout, and he might do a 6-month sabbatical come January, February. And he's not sure he's gonna bank a bunch of shows in the meantime, and then he's gonna have somebody else do interviews that are current. So I think right now he's just saving up interviews and banking them and banking. So I don't know if they've said it publicly, but Cameron Fradd has a lot of medical issues. She's talked about it on her show, where for some reason when she's in Florida when it's warm, she feels much better. So he's been going down to Florida for long clips at a time for his wife's health, and then coming home for a week, and he'll do 10, 12 shows. Put 3 of them out in a week and bank the other 6. I'm assuming. I mean, I'm doing a lot of guessing here, but so. It's hard being a Catholic celebrity. I wouldn't know. No, he said he might go to Austria. That's right. He might go to Austria, but for what he's been doing is going to Florida. I don't know what he's going to do in his sabbatical.
Interesting.
So yeah, dude, good for him. I mean, he's got a lot of opportunities. I wish the best for him. I pray Cameron feels better. That's got to stink, man. I can't imagine. It's one thing when you're going through suffering, but to watch your wife or children go through it that's heartbreaking stuff, man. Like you just feel so helpless when your wife or kids are in trouble. All right, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. We'll see you guys Thursday. Hopefully Taylor's with us, and we will see you then.
Okay.
Take his ass.